all got what it takes to succeed and have an unfair advantage over others. So in this video, let's find out yours and how you can use it. And today, I'm talking about some of the insights from the book by Ash Ali and Hassan Kuba, The Unfair Advantage, and how you already have what it takes to succeed. Now, before I get into this, just a quick disclaimer to say that I don't think we should all be rubbing our privilege in people's faces and not be grateful for our advantages over others. But it's not only things like wealth and social class, where you went to school, or who you know that can give you an edge over other people. These things will certainly help, but the strengths and experiences that you have that are unique to you, they're what we can really leverage as our unfair advantage. So let's get into it. Life is inherently unfair, but the good news is that this book summarizes that we all have a degree of different unfair advantages, and they use a framework called the Miles framework to benefit from the things that make life easier for you. This stands for mindset and money, intelligence and insight, location and luck, education and expertise, and finally status. And I'm going to talk through all these different advantages with my take on how they're relevant to myself and also for you. So the first M refers to mindset and money. Now, with mindset, you really need to set yourself up for success. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you need to think that I'm not a billionaire yet, and think about it with a bit of a yet mindset. If you want something bad enough, you have the power to make it happen yourself. And it's not necessarily a case of, I can't do it, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. It's more a case of, I don't have enough money yet, or I don't have enough time yet. And it kind of starts from how we see the world. One of the first big things that they talk about is gratitude. And I think gratitude is really important because we all realise that we have an unfair advantage, or we may not already, but we should also be grateful about where we are right now and the advantages that many of us in society take for granted. I think a key part about mindset that they mention in the book as well that really resonated with me is around the growth and the learning and the perseverance. Like, if you get yourself into that mindset where you are, able to grow, able to start something, and put yourself in that mindset of, I can do this. It might be a challenge, but I'm going to persevere. I'm going to get through it. That's the really, really key part. So the second part of M is money. And this is a bit of an obvious one. Having a lot of money or coming from a wealthy family is going to automatically be a bonus. That being said, there are still some drawbacks. For example, your family might be able to send you to a fancy school, pay for your degree, or buy what you want to set up your own music studio maybe. Maybe they could even invest in your own business idea or give you a loan, which is, to be frank, gonna be a bit of a huge advantage. However, the thing is, if you come from a wealthy background, it may actually reduce your work ethic a little bit because you're used to things being a bit easier. You're used to things being a bit on a plate for you. And in this case, it can become more of a disadvantage. So money certainly helps, but it's not always an unfair advantage when it comes to finding success. So the second one is intelligence and insight. And intelligence is one that you can be born with, but you can also nurture. And I think personally that intelligence, some people may be born intelligent, but I think you can build intelligence up over time. And being really intelligent gives you an unfair advantage over those people who are less smart than you, if you have a higher IQ, for example. You may have the ability to problem solve really well, or perhaps you're a fast learner. I remember in school, I could just not grasp concepts quickly, but some other people could just see a concept once or read it once and then grasp it straight away. Now, it'll always give you a bit of an advantage at school and in most careers too. But that being said, you don't need to be the smartest person in the class or in your company to succeed in life. If you've got a knack for something specific, why not nurture it to your advantage? And that knack could be that you've got a knack to playing the saxophone, or you've got a knack which gives you a really good way with people, for example. Now, the insight that you get comes from your experiences, and it gives you a little bit of a wisdom that can also be an advantage too. So the more you learn, the more insight you can have into different areas that can help you to succeed in life. What I think people also don't consider is recognizing the importance that emotional intelligence has in addition to intellectual intelligence. Now, you could be super smart and logical, but if you lack the ability to emphasize, understand people, that's going to be a bit of a disadvantage. So make sure you nurture both. Third up, we've got location and luck. So you may not have necessarily chosen where you grew up. Where you grow up, where you start in life, you don't get to choose that usually. I grew up on a farm. But you certainly can choose where you live once you leave home. And sure, there may be cost factors and there may be other reasons why you want to stay close to home. You know, sometimes it's not that bad to be around the family, right? But, you know, fundamentally the world's your oyster. And if we look at some examples of this, we look at tech startups who've really wanted to join the cluster in Silicon Valley, or if you're someone who's been really into fashion, you might want to move to Milan or Paris, for example. And it could be that you move to your country's capital city, which has different benefits that another city or another town in that country might have. Look at London, for example. Like, a lot of people move to London for that particular unfair advantage of being in that city, where a lot of kind of investment conversations and startup conversation happen. Whatever you want to succeed in, there's likely to be an ideal location for that particular area. Now, whilst luck is arguably a little bit out of your control, being in the right place can really create some luck through the opportunities that it brings. There might be more networking events, for example, in the city that you're in. And this means that you can meet more like-minded people. You could end up getting the career of your dreams, meeting your co-founder, or get other opportunities that you wouldn't necessarily have if you hadn't been in that location. And there's also other benefits that a location brings in terms of there may be grants that you can only get in that location. There may be access to certain advantages in terms of export opportunities that you can only get in that specific location that may prove beneficial for the business that you're running. The next one in the MILES framework is education and expertise. Now, if you're someone who's just starting out on your career and close to leaving uni, you can use your degree as a bit of an unfair advantage when looking for a job. And now, you may argue that that may be kind of less advantageous than it was maybe a few years ago, because a lot of people have degrees now, and having a degree in itself is not necessarily a particular unfair advantage. However, it may still get you in the door when someone who didn't have a degree may not necessarily be able to get into. Now, some people may have a really, really niche degree. So for example, if you have a degree in electrical engineering, that could be a real advantage if you're doing a degree that is in really short supply and you're going to be highly sought after. On the other hand, doing the most popular degree at an okay university, not really going to put you at the top of the pile. I speak, I guess, from a little bit of experience. So I did quite a general degree. I did business management at Nottingham, which is a great university. It was a great degree, but it's not necessarily going to stand me at the top of the pile when I kind of want to apply for a job if I didn't have one already, or whether I'm trying to get investment funding or anything like that. And no matter what you studied, if you went to a place like Oxford or Cambridge, or maybe another prestigious, highly known university like Stanford or Harvard in America, you're likely to be valued regardless. It's kind of a bit of a status symbol, I guess. That said, you really need to be able to sell yourself beyond the little piece of paper that you get when you graduate from university, right? Because many people will go and get those bits of paper. And I think one area that I really strongly agree on is that expertise is something that can really help with this. It's something that can really kind of make you stand out amongst the crowd. And if you've been in the world of work for a while, you may have gone down a certain track that gives you a certain expertise. And expertise is something that you can build up over time. It's something that you may have studied. It's something that you may just be really, really familiar with. So if you went into a sales job and you kept at it, you could probably go into any sales role at any company and you'd have the sales experience to back it up. For example, for myself, when I was at university, I set up a startup that was a not-for-profit tackling homelessness. Now, in theory, for me, I have a very decent amount of expertise in setting up a startup with effectively no money, and setting up a not-for-profit and setting a community interest company, as it were. So, I guess I kind of have that expertise to back up all those experiences. And if we think in the context of being a seller or being a salesman in this example, even though you may be selling different products, whether a physical product or a digital product, fundamentally a skill that I think is so important is being able to sell. And even if you're selling different products, the techniques that you use are going to be largely transferable. And I think there's that really good phrase, which is, if you can sell snow to an Eskimo, then you'll be fine. So if you know how to do sales, and you know how to build a relationship, you know how to find an opportunity, and fundamentally you know how to actually solve the problem that user is having, then you're probably going to be fine.
You can sell anything. Sell me the pen right here. You can sell anything. Sell that.
Go ahead. Sell me that pen. Can I finish eating first? I need today.
Brad, show him how it's done. Boom. Sell me that pen. Watch. Go on.
Let me sell the pen.
That's my boy right there.
This pen.
Sell anything.
Would you do me a favor? Why'd you name down that napkin for me?
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
What I'm saying is creating urgency. Simply getting to want to buy the stuff. It's something that they need.
The last one is status. And like money, this isn't always in our control, particularly depending upon where we are in our careers or where we are in our life. However, we can give the illusion of a higher status by investing in high quality clothes, by wearing glasses to an interview, by wearing black shoes instead of brown, which apparently is perceived more favourably. I don't know what that psychological study did or what the kind of result of that was, but apparently wearing black shoes compared to brown is perceived more favourably. So I think there's a really good example here, which is like the fake it till you make it perception. And I think in a lot of ways, fake it till you make it. Do it and seek forgiveness later. There's lots of ways in which, regardless of our socioeconomic status, we can present ourselves in a way that makes us more respectable, more trustworthy, and more knowledgeable too. If we think outside of the Miles framework that the Unfair Advantage book presents, there are definitely certain traits and qualities that are unique to us that will give us a bit of an edge against the billions of people in the world. For example, you might be naturally great with people in a way that others aren't. That could give you the advantage of being able to build a strong network, even if maybe you don't have a lot of connections in the family. It could also make you a better salesman, which is therefore going to be valuable in a lot of careers, even if it's not your actual job. It could be that you're naturally quite attractive. And this helps you to get a career in the music industry or modeling, if that's your thing. Or maybe you have a real passion for something that isn't mainstream yet, like sustainability or living a zero waste lifestyle. You can really leverage these passions to get you into a related career if you want to. You have an advantage over someone else. Like, potentially, I could say that I have an unfair advantage over other people because I'm a YouTuber, even though I have only like 130 subscribers, I think. But is that then an unfair advantage because I'm able to kind of record and speak in front of a camera and put myself online? Perhaps so. Lots of us have an advantage over someone else. It would then be clear that you are the better candidate for that role, you're the better person to invest in, based on that specific unfair advantage. The long and short of it is, we've all got some kind of unfair advantage. And even if we don't have the obvious ones that comes to mind in the sense of money or status or family, there's always something that is unique to you or unique to myself that we can really, really leverage. Or you can also control those aspects of the Miles framework that we kind of went through and that the book goes through to really give yourself a bit of a leg up and make sure that the advantages that you do have become advantages. Don't take them for granted or let them make you lazy. That's my summary of the unfair advantage and the kind of key takeaways that I took. I'd be really keen to know what your unfair advantages are and how you plan to use them. So let me know below any of those. Don't forget to like this video if you like this kind of book analysis and my insights of it. Subscribe, and I will see you in the very next video. Thanks so much for watching.